Welcome back, tribe. Halfway here. Says the new crime trend is sweeping across the country. America, are we okay? What's happening? And I'm just going to read the comments. It's going to be funny.
New crime trend from the state of Texas, which is now spreading really all across the southeast, and police say it can happen in just a few seconds.
Jugging rhymes with mugging. It spread from Texas to South Carolina. Some police in small towns there weren't even sure what the word meant until the crime started happening in their own districts.
Derived from the term mugging, but since a mug holds less, a jug is make a bigger score.
This video is of a gunpoint robbery in Sherman Oaks, California. The customer throws his bag of $10,000 cash, and the thieves take off. It's called bank jugging. Thieves watch you taking out money from the bank, follow you, and rob you. It can happen quickly anywhere at any time. In Austin, Texas, police report more than 60 cases in the first half of the year. And in California, police have noticed an uptick over the past few months.
Police say you can see a driver who had recently gotten money out of a Chase bank and came to this convenience store on telephone.
Yeah, your head has got to be on a swivel today. People are so broke. The economy is so broken. Once you go into the rich areas only and take money out where there's cops present. And then when you drive home, don't stop there. Just keep going. Go somewhere else. See if any car's tailing you. This is the life we're living under right now. This is wild.
Road. In just seconds, the 4Runner pulls up, followed by a white Chrysler. And men from the vehicles, two break out the windows on both sides of the victim's vehicle.
Pattern recognition saves lives, eh?
Before reaching in and taking off with the cash.
And leaving envelopes stuffed with cash, or even putting it in a glove compartment. Nothing safe.
The day before, Houston police say this man took money from inside a vehicle at a car wash. When confronted by that vehicle's owner, the suspect showed a weapon before getting away, with money also recently withdrawn from a bank.
In North Dallas, he backed his car in, and then 3 armed men jump out of an SUV, run up, and start pointing their guns at him, even pounding on his window.
There's a pattern here, and the pattern that you notice is they're all heavily armed. Make sure you're armed too.
Demanding he give up the cash he has on him. In this case, their plan did not work because Mark kept his doors locked and managed to escape.
Investigators say 27-year-old Johnson and 31-year-old Davis Mitchell followed a bank customer who had just withdrawn $75,000. The constable talked with both victims today.
The wife is at home. She has a broken shoulder and some ribs. She has about a 6 to 8 week recovery process. They are very relieved to know that we got these individuals off the street.
About a week ago, this jugging incident took place. You can see the video. This man was followed back to his business and beaten and robbed in the middle of the afternoon.
Police say this is Farrell Dembry and 2 others committing a jugging at the Bank of America on Fallon Loop Road last month. A 4th suspect waited in the car. A repairman was working on the ATM at the time.
The suspects had, while he was working on the ATM, pulled up, forced him to the ground, told him to lay there, indicated that they had a weapon, said they would shoot him if he moved.
Dembry disabled a different ATM in St. Louis earlier in the day, triggering a call to the repairman. They then followed the repairman around to different jobs until they got to O'Fallon.
In the video, you can kind of see this guy sneaking around the cars, and he takes something out of your car. What did he take?
He took money.
60
He took the money out the
G's.
bank. And it was deliberate.
And how much money was stolen from you?
Yeah, 60,000. I was just trying to, have a little cash to kind of negotiate better and that type of thing. We're never expecting that it was all going to just disappear.
On February 13th, cameras showed the moment he attacked Trung, body slamming her to the ground and stealing her money. He followed her after she stopped by a bank and withdrew over $4,000 to pay for a family trip to Vietnam. The Houston woman's adjusting to having limited mobility, left paralyzed. 18-year-old Joseph Harrell pleaded guilty to aggravated robbery, causing serious bodily injury, and was sentenced to 30 years in prison.
Wow, you don't say. 2.5 million views in 6 days. Stop calling it jugging for starters. It's armed robbery. It's called armed robbery. As a black dude, they're not helping the stereotypes. 30 years in prison is a joke considering she won't walk for the rest of her life. If they move this fast and work this hard at life, they might actually be something. Blacks call it jugging. The rest of us call it robbery. Not enough of them are experiencing a well-armed society. Oh, shall we go on? Okay. It's not racism, it's pattern recognition. It's tough to solve a problem when it can't even be discussed with intellectual honesty. All black. What bothers me is the most about the lack of diversity. Okay, that was a good one. Armed robbery comments. Damn, man, I'm black, and they making it hard for us who are trying to better our lives. This is crazy. Sorry for the people who are victims of this. He took the woman's legs, and he gets to keep his. Where's the justice? 30 years is not enough. This is why carrying a legal firearm is necessary for civilians. The usual suspects in every instance? This is why everyone should be armed. Unarmed and helpless is, in fact, unarmed and helpless. It's time we, the people, fight back. Just imagine putting 1% of that energy into a real job or being a father. Sentenced to 30 years, spent 18 months in jail. You can't solve a problem if you're not permitted to identify the cause. We shouldn't have to live like this. It's never racist to tell the truth. This is another blacktivity, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Judges letting violent criminals out on bond. This is the problem. This is called armed robbery, not jugging. Oh, look, it's the 13% again. Remember, these are the comments that are on YouTube right now. How they knew he withdrew $75K. Go and arrest who was inside or working the bank, plain and simple. They all look black, this guy says. Typical suspects, the fatigue continues. Yes, it's a new crime. It's called black fatigue. As a black man, this makes me sick. Terrible. Y'all stay safe and be aware. God bless. This is what happens when you're no longer afraid of jail. Jail has become a joke to criminals. Just a place they go to and brag about being there. These guys will commit a crime, get arrested, make bail, and commit 3-4 more crimes before their court date. This is inhumane. Or this inhumane BS got to get thrown out. Something has to be done and put real fear in committing crimes. We all feel sorry for the poor Vietnamese lady who was attacked and left paralyzed for life. Notice that the thieves have guns and the victims do not. Usual suspects doing usual things. It's not fatigue anymore. It's exhaustion. Dear black community, please address this before you try to protest about anything. Okay, feral creatures afraid of nothing but work. Look, these are the comments. I'm just reading these. Who withdraws that much money from an ATM? My local ATM limits withdrawals to $20. That's $200 because you're broke for one reason. And two, you have to go inside a bank to withdraw that kind of amount. And then you sign a piece of paper. And then they even ask you what it's for. And then you have to give them the reason. And usually you call ahead for $60,000. Now, unless you've ever withdrawn tens of thousands of dollars, you wouldn't know that. Loretta Watkins. Oh, look, more patterns we aren't supposed to mention. Fatigue is now off the charts. There seems to be a pattern. A group of youth were spotted jugging. Sounds a lot more sanitized than the equivalent statement made without suicidal empathy for criminals. Usual suspects. Profiling can save your life. Usual suspects. 13% causing 80%. They owe us reparations for all the crime. There aren't a trend. It's their culture. The usual suspects. Breaks my heart that I'm working long hours to do things the, quote, right way as a black man just to see this. I was raised in a terrible neighborhood. Seen friends get shot and killed as a kid. Saw stuff I was not supposed to see as a kid. This led me to getting serious help and therapy that I couldn't even afford but got blessed with good situation. Yet I never gave into putting anyone else in danger for a come up. I'm working hard to land a job in tech as a software engineer and make my income the right way. Be a present father/husband to my future family. Be the change you so want to see. Makes me sick to my stomach seeing this. And of course, this one will be invisible and the community won't talk about this. These comments have not disappointed. It restores my faith. Everyone knows it's always them. There you go. Anytime my wife says she needs to go to the bank, I stop what I'm doing and go with her. She isn't allowed to go to the bank without me present. I wait outside due to being armed. I'm not playing these games with these people. Wow. And there you go. So, dude, the comments they go on and on. On and on, like the stereotypes match reality. Criminals face little to no consequences, and it shows pattern recognition isn't racist. Keep alert and remember to take quick response gun courses. Oh, look, them again. It's a shocker, said no one. Wonder what the common denominator is. Oh, I know, the 15%. Fatigue is real. It's just about time for the entire country to strap up. Okay, anyways, and you get the fucking point, bro. It's not going to stop. There's also some shit going on with I don't know if you guys want me to cover that one, but the Carmela Anthony case, they took over $500,000 from people, okay? And they still requested a court-appointed attorney. And not only that, their claim, and they got approved for this, by the way, that the public, listen, I have it here. So they were approved for an indigent defense. So if you don't know what an indigent defense is, it's basically that you don't even get a salary public defender, you get a private attorney, but that attorney essentially is paid privately by taxpayers. The county appoints them and by using taxpayer funds. So taxpayers, because they blew the $500,000 that they got on a Cadillac in a nice affluent neighborhood that they wanted to live in, they blew the money. It ended up being true. They blew the money and will now have to get a court-appointed attorney that is taxpayer funded. Unreal. So if you guys want me to cover that, I will. But I think people should be extremely careful with the bottom something percent of people that are poor. You could say no matter what your skin color, because poor people do crazy shit because they're starving to death. But regardless, if you're in America and you're in not so safe neighborhoods, or you're on the bleeding edge of where good and bad meet, those in between when you're driving through parts of town, right? Where the good side starts to meld into the okay side and then melds into the bad side. Like when you're in that in between, be careful. If you live in the in between, be careful. A lot of ratchet, hood, degenerate, ghetto-ass culture is propagating all over the United States. And people are now hungry because if the economy is getting hard for everybody, imagine how it is for the poor. And they're going to turn into more crimes like this because nobody wants to flip a burger for $12 and go starving to death when you could just rob a dude for $60K straight off the bank. One successful robbery where they don't find out who you are and you got the whole year paid for. And that's cash. That's cold hard cash. For somebody that has absolutely nothing, it's absolutely nothing to get a gun and commit armed robbery. And unfortunately, this is going to stain the rest of the Black community that is trying to do good things, trying to be good people, going to school, getting educated, starting businesses, being a model for society, keeping families intact, all the rest of a real Black excellence, as you would call it. That's all going to get stained. All of it will get washed away. Not my job to talk about the Black community or what they should do, because even when their own speak up, they get ridiculed. They get called like Uncle Toms, Uncle Ruckuses, house ends, all that crazy shit. Their own people tear them down like crabs in a bucket. So, I'm just saying, for all the other people looking in from the outside, yeah, can't tell you what to do with the community. But if the good upstanding citizens in that community don't call this shit out, don't make it like disgusting to be a part of the hood culture or whatever the fuck you want to call it, the ghetto ratchets it. If you don't target that as a community and distance yourselves and make it unappealing to the youth, you're going to suffer for it wholesale. Because it doesn't matter, dude, wherever you go. For example, I'm Romanian, and it doesn't matter where I go. There are, for example, gypsies. Like you can't, because I'm white. Okay, but the gypsies don't look white. But most of these gypsies that commit crimes, pickpocketing, stealing, shit like that, begging, are Romanian citizens. So they have Romanian paperwork. Nationals is the word, excuse me. So these Romanian nationals, they go all around Western Europe. They beg, they steal, they rob people, and they do all this shit. So now there's funny racial jokes about Romanians. And like if you drop your wallet, it'll go disappearing faster than the speed of light, can hit the ground, shit like that. They have funny jokes. But all of them come from a little bit of truth, which is that the gypsies and their culture in Western Europe isn't exactly pristine. So because they're always like Romanian national, or it'll write like on the headlines, Romanians caught like stealing copper from fucking blah, 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 right? Shit like that. People assume that all Romanians are like that. Is it right for them to assume that? Don't care whether it's right or wrong. But if you see Romanians in your head, any of them, you're going to assume they steal copper, they steal wallets, they're like second-class EU citizens, beggars, thieves, shit like that. I don't blame them. That's what they do. But I get caught up in the middle as a Romanian that I do that shit, and I understand why. So the community, if they don't call that shit out, if Romania doesn't do things like send them all back, every single one of them that commits crime, send them here for like a death penalty, send them here for like hard chain gang labor, send them here so we can make an example of them. If they ever commit a crime in another country, they'll get 10x the fucking punishment just for the damage they're causing. You have to deal with people that fuck up the image. Reputation matters, guys. Why do you think China punishes people for acting stupid overseas? Like, those entitled Chinese tourists are like defacing fucking historical monuments and shit and, breaking things in Europe. And then like that makes headline news and like rowdy Chinese tourists, this, that. When they come back to their countries, it's not the social credit score, whatever fuck it's called, but they're not allowed to fly out anymore. They get penalized. They like lose access to credit. There's so much shit. China tightly controls how their people behave overseas. There's consequences for that because it only takes a few to ruin the image of the rest. Unfortunately, we do have to take responsibility for our own groups because every other group will label us by the group, whether you care or not. Guys, it's just a normal part of society. Even here, you could go to any country. For example, India, right? There's a big difference between Northerners and Southerners. They think they're two different people practically. But to everybody else, you're still the same kind of Indian. You're an Indian dude. In Romania, the same thing. There's a divide between like the northern, the southern, the dudes by the coast and the ones in the mountains. And nobody gives a shit. You're still a fucking Romanian when you go outside of Romania. And then you're in Europe. So the further you go from Europe, it doesn't even matter that you're Romanian anymore. It just matters that you're European. So by the time you get to somewhere like Latin America, you just say, I'm European. And so you identify with the larger group, you're European. And then when you leave further than that, if we could meet some fucking aliens, then you would just identify as human. And that's how we group each other. We only see these stupid divisions while we're mixed with each other in the same vicinity. We try to tribalize with one another. So just remember, whether you're in the black community, whatever other community, any other nationality, everybody outside of your community labels you as one. It's human nature. When one acts bad, the rest are bad. You're not supposed to think this way. Unfortunately, this is how people think by nature because that's how we got hardwired to grow up. Only accepting the people in our tribe. Everybody else is considered outsiders. Don't shoot the messenger, bro. Anyways, we'll see you guys on the next one.